Hi, it's Sylvester, and this story is pretty uneventful, but it is something that really put a smile on my face and kind of made my day. So I wanted to tell this story anyways. Now, I was making my way downtown yesterday, walking fast, faces pass, and I was on this road, and there was only me and one other person on this road. I was on one side of the street, this other person was on the other side of the street. We were both headed in the same direction, but this person was walking a lot faster than me, and we walked by this building, and it's not that big of a building. It's probably 4 stories high, and on top of said building was a group of children, like 3 or 4 children. I didn't stop to count how many children there were. I think there were four. Let's just say there were 4 children, and they were all yelling at this person walking down the street. Not, there were only two of us walking down the street. They weren't yelling at me. They were yelling at the other person, and I knew they were yelling at the other person because that person was wearing red shoes, and the kids were like, "Hey, guy in the red shoes, look up here. Hey," they were clearly trying to get this person's attention. And if I had to guess how old these kids were, I'm terrible at guessing people's ages, especially when it comes to children. I know very little about children. So if I had to guess, I'd say they were anywhere between the age of like 7 to 10. I have no idea how old these kids were, but they were unattended on this rooftop and yelling at this person. And the person in the red shoes just ignored them and kept walking. And like I said, this person was walking a lot faster than me, so this person passed, and I was still slowly walking by the building. And so these kids turned their attention to me, and they started yelling at me like, "Hey, look over here, look over here." And I guess I don't give children enough credit because I initially was kind of not scared of these kids, but I guess I was kind of scared of these kids because kids can be mean, you know what I mean? Like, they're at an age where they don't entirely understand right and wrong, you know what I mean? Like, kids can be really mean, and the way they were aggressively yelling at the person in the red shoes, it felt almost like harassment, like they were trying to harass people walking by the building. And so I was hesitant when these kids started yelling at me. I really thought that I'd look over at them, acknowledge them, and then they would start yelling insults at me. But, I did. I looked at them, and they were, like, waving at me, and so I waved back. And then these kids got so hype. They got so excited that I waved at them. They started cheering. They started applauding. They were so happy that somebody acknowledged them and waved at them. And it was just such a reaction of joy that again, I was expecting these kids to say something mean to me. So the fact that they applauded me for waving at them, it filled my heart with warmth and joy, and so that was a good experience. And then I kept walking, and then I could hear the kids calling some other people, like, who were on the roof, because apparently there were other kids on the roof who weren't at the edge of the roof. And so they were like, "Hey, come over here," and they were talking to their friends. And then like 4 more kids emerge and go to the edge of the roof, and the kids start yelling at me again, and they're like, "Hey, can you wave at us again? Wave at us again." And then I could hear one of them say to the other kids, the new ones who had just joined them, "This guy's really friendly," or "No, this guy's really nice." And they said it loud enough that I could hear them say it, and it just again made me happy because that was a nice thing for them to say about me. And so I waved at them again, and then again these kids started cheering and clapping. And and now there were like 8 kids in total, and they were all like cheering and clapping and just having the time of their lives. So happy that I acknowledged them, so happy that I waved at them. Like, it was just, I don't know. It was just a very joyful experience, and it just made me very, very happy. And then the one kid yelled at me, "You're our favorite." And And yeah, that made me really happy. Again, there's not much to this story. It's pretty uneventful, but it's not every day that I get applause from children. It's not every day that children tell me that I'm their favorite. And, you know, I don't spend a lot of time around children, but I do like children. And especially when they're joyful and not being mean. And so I feel like I've said the word joy and joyful way too many times in this video, but I don't know any other way to describe it. Like, it was just pure joy. They were just having such a good time, and they were just so happy that I waved at them, and it just really, really made my day. I got applauded. I got applause from a group of children, and that that was a very interesting and fun experience. Anyways, that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Stay frosty. Bye.